Hello everyone, welcome to join the presentation. Today I will talk about the topic about phase and time calibration between distributed channels, specifically in a wideband OFDM system, and we're investigating the using location and map information to help this calibration process. I am the presenter today, Yibo, together with many co-authors here, and also the collaborated for institution and for fundings support this work. Jump to the background. So one of the main motivation in the work is we actually need more frequent phase and time calibrations between distributed antennas. So from reference one, we had this figure. It shows when we're having a access point with a transmitter and the receiver part, when there are time and phase errors, they actually introduce opposite phase errors when you transmit and receiver. That means your channel at the uplink here and the channel at the downlink, they're different. So reciprocity-based channel estimation, that means you use an uplink estimate channel, will not be the same when you're doing downlink transmission. So in one hand means you need both uplink and downlink channel estimation. On the other hand, also means you need time and phase calibration between two antennas whenever the time and phase changes. So much more frequent than we thought before that only reciprocity-based time estimation. So relying on the same signal model, there are already several works in 2 and 3 to show that we can do an over-the-air calibrations. So on the right, we show a scenario we have in distributed access point in this case, and we can consider two of them, A and B, using single antennas. Then we could use measurements over the channel, over the line of sight channel, over the multipass channel. Here we're considering a ground reflection at reflection point R. To do the use this measurement to do calibrations. And some research question we're considering in this work is how does this multipass affect the calibration accuracy? And we get improvement if we're using the multipass. How much degradation we get if we ignore this multipass? Second question is how can location and map information improve the calibration, both the requirements and the accuracy? So if you know the location of access point A and B, how does it change of the requirement of calibration? How many measurements we need? If we know the position and the phase of the reflection points. And third question is, what are the efficient estimators in these scenarios we're considering here to do the time and phase calibration? The signal model in this work are the following, where we first only show the line of sight case, transmit from A to B, and the signal received and then the B at the subcarrier end are the following. So where we have the channel gain, beta, is the real values. We have the propagation delay from A to B depending on their distance. More importantly, we have the phase offset defined delta phi AB. That is the phase offset when you transmit from A to B. We have the clock offset delta TAB. That is their local clock difference between when you transmit from A to B. On the other hand, we also have this reflection pass, right? So there we have another channel gain for this reflection pass. More importantly, we have the reflection phase. Due to reflection, introduced a phase error, and there's a new propagation delays also geometrically defined as following. So more importantly, as we earlier mentioned before, this is one direction from A to B. So on the other hand, if we transmit from B to A, there will be new phase and clock offset, and as I said, they will introduce opposite phase errors. So there has the opposite sign here. So using the signal model, we have several scenarios. The first scenario is the case if we know the position of A and B, and we know the location assistance scenario. So in this case, we actually only need a unidirectional measurement. That means either from A to B or from B to A. Now we only have 3 unknowns in this line of sight case scenario: the clock offset, phase offset, the channel. A more multipass case would be that if you consider the reflection path from the ground truth from the ground R, then we have 3 more unknowns. There we have the delay of this reflection path, the reflection phase, and the channel of that. And in another case, if we know the map of this area, we know the location of the R, or we know the phase of this reflection, then we can reduce the unknowns from 6 to 4. So another scenario is in the case that we don't know the position of A and B. And it turns out in this case, we need a bidirectional measurement. That means both from A to B and from B to A to resolve the unknowns. Now we have 1 more unknowns is the delay from A to B. So this is a line of sight case. In the 2 path case, that means line of sight and reflection case, we have now 7 unknowns, including the delay of this reflection path, the phase of that. In the case if you know the map of the scenario, then we know the location, phase of the reflection point, then we can reduce 2 unknowns. That reduce the unknowns to 5. So we will investigate the estimator and the Cramér-Rao bound in these 2 scenarios to see how it works. So in the scenario parameters, we see in the scenario considering the location of this antenna A and B and the reflection point as the following in meters. We considering 2 GHz carrier frequencies. We consider OFDM signal with subcarrier space of 60 kHz. The clock phase offset are defined the following. The channel gains are defined based on free spacing model. Jump to the results. So let's look at the first scenario as we discussed in the case where node position A and B. Earlier we mentioned that in the case we just need a 1 direction measurement to resolve the 3 unknowns in line of sight cases and 6 unknowns in the case we have a reflection path. Let's look at the results. So here we show the root mean square error of clock offsets versus the bandwidth. And the scenario we show here is we using a maximum likelihood derived line of sight estimator. That means the estimator think there's only a line of sight measurement. Well, we're testing 2 scenarios that when the measurement are actually only come from line of sight or coming from a 2-pass model. So we clearly see that there is a mismatch. We are using the wrong estimator. So this causes degradation when the measurement actually come from 2 paths. Compared to the case you have line of sight estimator, you can reach to this CRLB here with solid line. First conclusion, ignoring the multipass will cause a big degradation on the estimation. In another case, if we using the correct estimator, using the 2-pass measurement, so you get a improvement, say from here blue dashed to green and red dashed. And also, if you knowing part of the map information, which is the red dashed line, eventually you get improvement compared to previously. But we see the improvements only happens when we have large enough bandwidth, because we need that bandwidth to resolve these 2 multipass. Conclusion 2 here is using the map information, we can get a benefit from multipass, but that's only happened when you have large enough bandwidth. Jump to the next scenario in the case we don't know the axis position. So as we mentioned earlier, in this case, we actually need bidirectional measurements. In the line of sight case, we have 4 unknowns. In the 2-pass case, where we have a reflection path, then we have 7 unknowns. First, look at the clock offset estimation. It's the same we had in the previous slides. but now in this bidirectional case. So where we have the line of sight estimator here now on bidirectional case when there are actually only line of sight measurement, or the case that there are two pass measurement. So there will be mismatch. And the purple is the result we had previously, that line of sight on unidirectional measurement. So we clearly see that we get improvements in this case when we're using bidirectional measurements. So green become better than the previously shown purple lines here, because you basically double the SR, we get both directional measurement. And also we said when you're using the wrong estimator, the mismatch effect actually become very small. So the blue dotted line here you see are very close to the green. So this is a good news. That means in this bidirectional case, even you're using the wrong estimator, the impact is very small. And we see another result of the root mean square error of the delay estimation, tau AB. So there's different message here. You see there's a big gap actually between the estimator and the Cramér lower bound. And only if you need if we have large enough bandwidth, the estimator can reach to the Cramér lower bound. But next, to investigate why we need such large bandwidth to reach to this Cramér lower bound, we look into the log likelihood function. So there we plot the log likelihood function of the estimator under two bandwidths, 50 megahertz and 200 megahertz. So we see that the local function become periodically because we are actually relying on carrier phase to do the delay estimation. So because of carrier phase ambiguity, every 2 pi, this is the same phase. When you have lower bandwidth, you see blue curves here, you get many local minimums. That's why it caused large errors as we had it here. When you have large enough bandwidth, 200 megahertz, then you see we get a clear global minimum. So in this case, you can suddenly reach to a very good result that attains this Cramér lower bound. Earlier, we have several research questions. The first is, how does multipass affect calibration accuracy? We have seen that it can improve the calibration accuracy only if we have enough bandwidth to resolve the multipass. And also, to use the multipass information, we need a map information to do that. We also investigate that if we ignore the multipass, the accuracy will be degraded. Luckily, this is very less obvious in the case with bidirectional measurement. So even if you're using the wrong estimator, the impact is very small. I will also question about how location and map information can improve the requirement and their accuracy. So I have seen that if we know the location of the access points, so we only need a unidirectional measurement. If we don't know, then we need bidirectional. So also we see that using the map information, we can get a benefit from the multipass, which can improve the estimation accuracy eventually. We also ask about the efficient estimators. And in this work, we have already shown several maximum likelihood-based estimators. And we see that they are syntactically efficient. That means they can attach the Cramér lower bounds. Several future works to extend this work are considering the following. We, in the case that we don't know access position, we show the results, but we only have the line of sight estimator. So to derive this multipass estimator could be an extension of that. In this work, we only end up with time and phase calibrations. It would be natural to do localization when we have such time information, time and phase information. But that may be we need either more access points so we can geometrically localize, or we need multiple tunnel to use the angle information. In this case, we're considering only just 2 antennas in a network scenario. And to extend that to self-free massive cases that you have many, many more access points, I think the scenario become more complicated on how to synchronize those access points in a good way. Another extension would be on how to add more offsets, such as there could be carrier phase offset, there could be phase noise in the network, and how do we calibrate those offsets. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please leave your comments or contact me or any of the co-authors on this work.